calf cows are milked for the first time and their colostrum is kept separately. From the 4 sheds on the island, the best quality colostrum is identified and fed to the first day calves.
There are first day colostrum cows, so we are milking them separate so that we can keep the gold colostrum for the first day cows.
You're basically trying to get that day one colostrum.
Day one colostrum from these cows here. So that's why they are separate, so we keep them separate and then we test their milk and then it's going for Karen for the cows.
So Karen, here at Rakaia Island you have a really good procedure in place to ensure that your first day old calves get some really top quality colostrum.
Yep.
And I know you guys do this by using a colostrometer. So a colostrometer is basically a little contraption you can use. You can pop it into your colostrum and you can actually work out the level of immunoglobulins in it, because immunoglobulins are really the important thing in colostrum that are actually being absorbed by calves to help with their immunity.
So we have 2 lots of colostrum from yesterday actually.
Yeah.
So one's a poorer quality and one's a better quality, and quite often like the colour's not, you can't tell by just colour alone.
Yeah.
So we take a reading on everything that's milked on the farm that's day one. We'll take a reading from it. So we'll pour some into a...
Cool, so we'll give it a go now.
Yeah.
So we'll pour that colostrum into there. So you take the colostrometer, which is basically just a weighted vial that's measuring the viscosity of the colostrum. We can pop it in there and then it'll float or sink depending on the thickness of the colostrum, and basically what it's measuring is the level of immunoglobulins in there. So a colostrum with a high level of immunoglobulins will be thicker, so the colostrometer will float a little bit higher. So from this we can see basically there's a scale on the side, so green to red. If we pop it in and it's in the red zone, we shouldn't really be feeding this to day-old calves.
Yeah.
If it's in the green zone, we can. So this one here we can see is actually not the best quality colostrum, and we shouldn't really be feeding this to our day one calves.
So for us, we'll put this into our day 2 to 4 milk, and because it's still got, we use Rotovac and Scourguard, so that's ultimately what's in our colostrum. So it'll still get put into our milk, but through the day 2 to 4 milk instead. And so we'll just test that other one if you like.
Cool. So that one's basically still got all the goodies that colostrum has, but it's actually just too low in immunoglobulins really for our day ones. So we'll pop that one in there. Pop in the colostrometer. So this one here, because this colostrum is of a better quality and it's got a higher immunoglobulin level, we can see on the colostrometer that it's in the green zone. So I'd be happy to feed this colostrum to a day one calf, because I'm pretty confident that it's got a really good level of immunoglobulins in there. So colostrum's so important, Karen, especially for those day one old calves, and really the reason why is for that passive immunity that they're getting from the immunoglobulins in the colostrum. And there's actually 3 different cues that you need to remember for colostrum, and that is quickly, quality and quantity. You need to get that colostrum in really quickly to make sure the calf absorbs it, because after day 1 they actually start to lose the ability to absorb the immunoglobulins. Second is quantity, so you have to make sure that they're getting enough of it to absorb all the goodies from the colostrum. And lastly, quality, because we need to make sure that that colostrum that's getting into those first day old calves is really high quality. And as we've shown using the colostrometer, we can actually test colostrum to make sure we're getting the really good stuff with the highest amount of immunoglobulins into the calves, which is really important.
Yes, it definitely is important, because the wheels will all fall off later on down the track. If those calves haven't received that first initial gold colostrum, then they're open to all the diseases in the world really, and problems later on at weaning and other stages. By the end of the season we will rear 2,100 heifers and we might lose 2 or 3. Everything's done quickly, quantity, quality with the colostrum, and then the time frame starts with the guys in the paddocks. Animals have to be picked up as soon as possible and brought to us, and then it's the delivery of the colostrum.
So basically, Karen, you just need to make sure that any calf coming on day 1, you've got to assume they've basically had no colostrum.
Yes,
just to be safe.
To be safe, and to cover all your bases, to make sure that you are treating that calf as an individual and not as a group, and say, oh, well, that one has and that one hasn't. Just treat them all the same.
Yeah.
Do your basics well.
The single most important thing I think is actually is colostrum for the newborn calves.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't get that colostrum right, you've actually, you're on a hiding to nothing.